Hi, I hope that you guys are well, that you're having a great day. So I'm Megan. I'm going to bring to you today the thought for the day for the Estuary Elim Church Group. So I've named it, Have You Refueled? Is this not the question of the hour? Everyone's asking, have you been able to get petrol? Have you been down to the petrol station? We all need to refuel, right? So literally a week and a half ago, I went down to Bible college, and on my way back from Bible college, I needed to refuel naturally. But at this point, I didn't realize that there was a fuel crisis. I've been at Bible college, I haven't even looked at the news, So anyway, I wasn't too happy. I had to wait in queues, and as it was fine. But literally about a week ago, I needed to get fuel and I was running on the red. So I was going past BP. I'm thinking, right, please let there be fuel in BP. There was no fuel in BP, and they had no idea when they were getting fuel. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try Tesco's. So as you do, you got to Tesco's. Right, well, Tesco's is shut. So I'm thinking, where on earth am I going to get fuel from? At that point, I am praying. I never stopped praying. As soon as I got past the BP, I was like, Lord, let there be fuel. Please let there be fuel. Anyway, so I went to get my food shop. And after, I saw a queue form. I got on the queue, and eventually they opened and I managed to get fuel. Amazing. But are we refueling ourselves spiritually? Are we refueling, or are we getting to red and running on fumes? And I think sometimes we don't often think about sort of, are we running on fumes spiritually? I think, you think, oh, the fumes are going to last forever. You don't necessarily realize that you are getting really, really low, and you need to be refueled by God. So what does this mean? Like, how can we be refueled by God? How can we be refreshed? And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because when I was spending some time with the Lord, and I'll be honest, I was saying to the Lord, I'm really struggling. I'm really, really struggling. I'm getting really demotivated. And I'm finding it difficult. And I'm finding it difficult to motivate myself. I've got all of my uni work. I'm working and trying to do everything else as well. And I'm really struggling. And I know myself that I was getting to that point of red. But the problem is, what happens after red happens and you run out of fuel? You end up empty, and the car or van or motorbike, whatever you're driving, ends up empty. You stop, you come to a stop, no more. And that can be the same with us spiritually. So as I'm speaking to the Lord, and I'm speaking to the Lord about it, and I just feel that the Lord's saying, Megan, it is like the petrol crisis. We're living our lives and we're thinking we're fine. We're not coming to spend as much time with God. I'm busy doing this. I'm working. I'm studying. I've got people to look after. But actually we're neglecting God, who is our source. I watched an incredible video the other day, and it definitely convicted me. And it spoke about, how much of our time are we giving to God? And the gentleman that was speaking used this as a reference. He said, an hour on Sunday is like 1% of the whole of your week, that you're spending with God. And that is it. So can you imagine putting 1% of fuel into your car, van, or bike? Let me tell you that now, you are going to get down the road and that vehicle is going to come to a halt. Okay? It's going to come to a halt. And the other question is, what kind of fuel are you putting in your car? And I heard about, everyone in their panic, they're trying to put all these different kinds of fuel into their car, but they don't realize that they're putting the wrong fuel. They're so worried about, oh goodness, I need to refuel, that they're actually putting in your diesel, and they've actually got an unleaded car. So again, they're going to get far, but they're going to stop. And that, again, as I said, can be a bit like us. We can be getting a bit low. We're getting, we're trying to feel this emptiness. We're trying to feel this, empty hole inside of our hearts. And what are we fueling it with? Well, things, or activities. But actually, we're not coming to God, who is the one that completely restores us and refreshes us. So this is a beautiful Bible verse, and it says, "You gave me abundant showers, O God. You refreshed your weary inheritance." So what God actually does is he rains upon us. He fills us with his Holy Spirit, and he refreshes us every time that we come into God's presence. So that could be reading his word. That could be putting your worship music on and worshiping. That can just be being still in his presence and trying to listen to God. And that can be, just conversing with God, speaking to God, being around God's people and talking about the things of God. And that is how we become refreshed. If we are not seeking God and we're not seeking his face, then how are we able to refuel? So another beautiful verse is Jeremiah 31:25, and it says, "I will refresh the weary and satisfy the faint." He will refresh you. He's just said that he's going to refresh you. So when you're getting a little bit like me, you feel like everything is sort of coming over, you've got so much to do and not much time to do it, or you're just feeling a little bit bored, you're feeling a little bit demotivated about coming to spend time with God and to seek his face, just need to say, actually, no, I'm going to come into God's presence. I'm going to read his words. I'm going to spend time with him. And let me tell you now, as soon as you do, you are going to be refreshed. And you're going to realize how much you loved reading that Bible, how much you loved spending time in God's presence, and how refreshed and refueled you are. I hope that this blesses you, this challenges you, and it just, encourages you more than anything. We all go through those, demotivated or times that we need refueling. But if we're not taking the car, in our respect, if we're not taking ourselves to God, then we're just going to burn out and we're just going to end up by the side of the road, because we need God and we need his refreshing. I hope that this blesses you, that this encourages you, and that you have a great day. Take care and God bless.